It wasn't his plan to stay up all night. His plan was to leave the Grand Duke around midnight and catch a few hours of sleep at the Gare du Nord before his train ride back to Toulouse. Now, he glances at his watch. It's nearly 6 in the morning. Montmartre has this effect on him. The jazz clubs and cabarets, the throngs of Parisians, young and defiant, unwilling to let anything, even the threat of war, dampen their spirits. It's intoxicating. He finishes his cognac and stands, fighting the temptation to stay for one last set. Surely there is a later train he can take. But he thinks of the letter tucked into his coat pocket, and his breath catches. He should go. Gathering his overcoat, scarf, and cap, he bids his companions adieu and weaves his way between the club's dozen or so tables, still half full of patrons smoking gitanes and swaying to Billie Holiday's Time on My Hands. As the door swings closed behind him, Addie inhales deeply, savoring the fresh air, raw and cool in his lungs. The frost on Rue Pigalle has begun to melt, and the cobblestone street shimmers, a kaleidoscope of grays beneath the late winter sky. He'll have to walk quickly to make his train, he realizes. Turning, he steals a glimpse at his reflection in the club's window, relieved to find the young man peering back at him presentable, despite the sleepless night. His posture is square, his trousers cinched high on his waist, still sharply cuffed and creased, his dark hair combed back the way he prefers it, neat, without a part. Looping his scarf around his neck, he sets off toward the station. Elsewhere in the city, Addie presumes, the streets are quiet, deserted. Most iron-gated storefronts won't open until noon. Some, whose owners have fled to the countryside, won't open at all. Fermé indéfiniment, the signs in the windows read. But here in Montmartre, Saturday has faded seamlessly to Sunday, and the streets are alive with artists and dancers, musicians and students. They stumble from the clubs and cabarets, laughing and carrying on as if they hadn't a worry in the world. Addie tucks his chin into his coat collar as he walks, looking up just in time to sidestep a young woman in a silver lamé gown, striding in his direction. "Excusez-moi, monsieur," she smiles, blushing from beneath a yellow-plumed cap. A singer, Addie surmises. A week ago, he might have engaged her in conversation. "Bonjour, mademoiselle," he nods, continuing on. A whiff of fried chicken triggers a rumble in his stomach as Addie rounds the corner onto Rue Victor Masse, where a line has already begun to form outside Mitchell's all-night diner. Through the restaurant's glass door, he can see customers chatting over mugs of steaming coffee, their dishes heaped with American-style breakfasts. Another time, he tells himself, continuing east toward the station. His train has barely left the terminal when Adi pulls the letter from his coat pocket. Since it arrived yesterday, he's read it twice and thought of little else. He runs his fingers over the return address. Warszawska 14, Radom, Poland. He can picture his mother perfectly, perched at her satinwood writing table, pen in hand, the sun catching the soft, plump curve of her jaw. He misses her more than he ever imagined he would when he left Poland 6 years ago for France. He was 19 at the time and had thought hard about staying in Radom, where he'd been near his family and where he hoped he could make a career of his music. He'd been composing since he was a teenager and couldn't imagine anything more fulfilling than spending his days at a keyboard writing songs. It was his mother who had urged him to apply to the prestigious Institut Polytechnique in Grenoble, and who had insisted that he attend once he was accepted. "Adi, you are a born engineer," she said, reminding him of the time when, at 7 years old, he dismantled the family's broken radio, strewn its parts across the dining room table, then put it back together again like new. "It's not so easy to make a living in music," she said. "I know it's your passion. You have a gift for it, and you should pursue it. But first, Addie, your degree.